Hello everyone, my name is Ike Chukwendru, and in this page or channel or whatever platform you're watching from, I always love to talk about how you can manifest your dreams, goals and desires into your life. So for those of you who are not familiar with the word manifest or manifestation, that means how to draw or attract the things that you want, your desires, into your life using your state of being. And I'm going to explain what a state of being means in a moment. I always talk about this in my videos anyway. But manifestation refers to the idea of drawing or attracting the things that you want into your life. So this is versus working hard for those things, going outside and doing something, looking for someone, looking for a connection, investing an effort in your physical world to get the things that you want, versus having them show up in your life like a miracle, a coincidence, a serendipity, stuff like that. To throw more light on that, we all know that we live in a world of three dimensions where we use our physical bodies to go out and get the things that we want. So we want money. Instead of looking for the money directly, we first of all go to school or learn a trade or learn a skill. And then after that, we go and look for a job, try to get a connection, try to save money, try to ask someone to help us, things like that, before we can now start doing the work, doing the skill, getting a job, and then start to earn money monthly or daily, whatever. You see, it's a long way. So we started from trying to go to school, learn a trade, before we can get to the destination being the money. So here is what we want, our desire over here, and this is our destination. So there is this long transition from the thought of what we want to the destination of what we want. So this is what we basically do in the three dimension in this world. We exert physical effort before we can get what we want. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. This is the plane of demonstration. This is the earth. The world that we live in is a plane of demonstration. So for us to be able to get the things we want, we have to get physical. We have to do things. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with effort. But the problem is we are not just linear beings. We are dimensional beings and multidimensional beings. So what that means is that the only way we can get what we want? The idea of getting into effort to do things that we want, to get the things that we want, limits us. It makes us think, okay, so that's the only way to get it. So for you to get rich, you have to do something physically. You have to go out and do all of that. You have to wait for that long time before you get money, before you get the relationship, before you do all of that. That's not the only way to do it. We are dimensional beings and we're supposed to be living dimensional lives. There is a lot of possibilities in us. We live in a universe that has infinite possibilities. Okay, let me say that again. We live in a universe that has infinite, take note of the word infinite possibilities. That means that there are so many uncountable possibilities in the universe that we live in. That means that you cannot exhaust the possibilities in this universe through which we can get what we want. So all our lives we've been exploring one possibility, which is doing things one way, and that's limitation. So that's what I want to share here in this video. That's always what I talk about anyway. So the idea of manifestation is, instead of going out there to do the hard work, which again, there's nothing wrong with it, we have the power to do anything that we want. Meaning that if we want to go that way, we can. We should. That's why we're here, to experience it. If we want to do the hard work, to go out there and look for connection and, spend time or waste time or whatever, we can do that. But then, if we've been doing that all our lives, it makes sense to say, let's try it another way. Is there another way to make money? Is there another way to get a relationship, instead of filling out or getting into 1,000 dating sites and looking for someone or asking someone? Is there another way to do it? Is there another way to get money instead of having to struggle for so many years to learn a trade? And is there another way to get connection? Is there another way to heal the body instead of passing through a lot of pain, and waiting for years and suffering before getting healed? You get the idea. So there is another way. That's what we call manifestation. Manifestation means, instead of you looking for it, it can come to you. Instead of you looking for healing, going about looking for how to heal your body, the healing can find you. Instead of you looking for the money can find you. That's what it means to manifest something, for you to attract it. All right. So when I began, I said that you manifest your dreams using your state of being. So I told you I was going to explain that. What is your state of being? Your state of being, and I talk about this every time, your state of being is made up of how you think and how you feel. That's your state of being. How you think and how you feel is your state of being. All right? Now, thoughts are the language of the brain and feelings are the language of the body. So how you think and how you feel is what creates your state of being. So that state of being is how you attract, is how you draw things into your life. So it happens that your state of being is like a magnet. All right? The science tells us that thoughts are electric and feelings are magnetic. When you combine, for people who are nerds here, you know that when you combine electric energy with magnetic energy, what do you get? You get an electromagnetic energy, just like a magnet that draws things. That's why you see all these experiments that a person brings all these wires and batteries and then a magnet and then puts a bulb, it comes on, right? So when your thoughts are electric and your feelings are magnetic, you become a magnet. You begin to draw certain things into your life. And guess what? We're always doing this. You watching me, you do this every time. You're thinking, oh, I would like to be that. You are already that. You can't be a human being without being that, because you're always thinking. So thoughts that is moving out, because your thoughts are not contained in your head, because energy cannot be contained in a place. Energy is everywhere. Energy is connected to everything. In other words, your thoughts are not just in your head. There are two machines that are used to measure thoughts in the head. One of them is EEG, electroencephalogram. When you put it on your scalp, you begin to read all these waves, because the wave is energy and thoughts are waves, which are energy. You begin to see all these waves. That means your thoughts are waves, which is energy. Now, the other machine, MEG, magnetoencephalogram, it doesn't even touch your head. It's out here, and it picks all of the signals coming out from your brain. All of those waves, it picks it up, meaning that your thoughts are not contained in your head. They are coming from there, but they are mixed with everything. That's why it's energy. So when those thoughts are moving out, it's moving out into the field of energy out here, into the universe that is connected to everything. Now, your feelings, which are your emotions, are magnetic. In the same way, they are energy, magnetic energy. That means you and I, we are always broadcasting a field of energy around us. So this field of energy we're broadcasting is electromagnetic energy that is always drawing things into our lives. So you're always doing that. You're always doing that. You're always creating. You're always manifesting certain things into your life. But you might not be deliberately manifesting those things into your life. You might not be using this power of yours to draw the things that you want into your life. You know, some of us manifest problems, lack, loneliness, frustration. We manifest sickness. We manifest so many things. Because every time you start to think these thoughts, that is energy, and feel the feelings of those thoughts, you're creating a state of being. So maybe, for example, you watched a video where someone is sick and the person dies, or something happens that is bad, and then you begin to have that fear and think, oh, so this thing is in the air, this thing can happen. That is energy you're sending out. So every time you think such a thought, and then you hang on to that thought, and then begin to feel the feeling of that thought, that energy, you're sending out a magnetic energy. Guess what? You're sending out that magnetic energy that is drawing. Remember, you begin to draw that same thing to you, because that energy that you're sending out has a matching experience out there in the field that will begin to look for its matching energy. So that particular problem or sickness that is out there as a reality is a matching frequency to this. That is why it's called attraction. So just in the same way that a magnet will attract things, the same way your electromagnetic energy will attract the things that match to it. So that's why that thing you're thinking about and feeling about already exists there. So as you're thinking about it and feeling it, you're drawing the very matching frequency and reality to it. It's only going to be a matter of time and you begin to experience the same thing in your life. So you're already doing it. Now, what I want this video to do for you, what I'm hoping it will do, is for you to understand how you can begin to create the things that you want into your life. The things that you want and not the things that you do not want. You know, I always try to let people understand that you don't need to learn how to create. You already know how to create. If you've had any bad experience in your life, you know how to create because you drew it to yourself by thinking about it and feeling about it without even going out to do anything about it to cause it to happen. All right? But I will teach you how to create deliberately, right? How to deliberately create what you want and bring it into your life. Doesn't it sound good? You want this car, this Porsche, this house, this relationship. This is what you want. And you deliberately create it. And you know that, oh, I created this. I brought it into my life. It has a feeling of fulfillment with it, right? Now, everything that you want in your life as a person will change you in some way. If it comes into your life, you will be a different person in your life than who you are right now. Now, you have a personality, and a personality is made up of how you think and how you act and how you feel. Now, stay with me. This is different from a state of being. A state of being is how you think and how you feel. But when you add an action to thinking and feeling, you have a personality. Okay? So your desire will create a different personality than who you are now. Because if what you want comes into your life, your thinking will change. Because in the tapestry of your brain, you have something added. In other words, your desires that is in your life now changes the way you think, because you're always now going to think about your desire, you having it. All right, so it will create a different experience for you. That means your desire creates a different personality. So if you have what you want now, your thoughts will change, your actions will change, and your feelings will change. That's your personality right there. So this personality is energy. Remember that I always talk about that. You probably know before now that everything is energy. Okay, your thoughts are energy, your feelings are energy. All right, now your actions can't be anything less than energy, because you're going to always act according to how you feel. So that means there is a personality about you, that's where I'm going with this, that exists already in the field of energy, in the quantum field, in the field of energy where everything exists. Remember, we live in an infinite universe, and every possibility, every potential exists. That means there is a you that already exists, already occupying the position where you have that desire. It already exists. That version of you already exists in the universe. That's true. In a different dimension. You can't see it, you can't taste it, you can't feel it, you can't hear it, you can't physically connect to that person, because it's not in the physical realm, but it exists as energy, because everything exists energetically in the universe. I made a video about that. I'm going to put a link to that video in the description below. So check out that video. It explains how everything is energy. Now, if your personality, where you have what you want, if the you, the parallel, the alternate you that already have what you want already exists, that means if you can begin to think thoughts and send out electrical energy to connect to that person, to that future you, and begin to feel the feelings of that future you, guess what? You will be drawing that person to yourself. Remember, that's electromagnetic energy, meaning that the result is that you will eventually become that person. You will manifest in no time, or in a short period of time, depending on how intense your intention is, you will become that person in your physical life, because your electromagnetic energy will keep drawing that person until you become that person physically. This is how it works. All right. Now, here's what I want you to do for this to work. If you want to experiment with this and try, this is how you're going to do it. Take a piece of paper and write down what you want, your desires, write them down. Get clear on those things. Get as much clarity as you can about the things that you want. You can start with one thing or two things so you don't get overwhelmed, right? Now, once you do that, begin to analyze what you will be doing. Connect to that future person of yours. In other words, what would the future person be doing? For example, let's say I want a car, or I want whatever, just making stuff up to give you an example. I want a car now, and I want to do this. I write the kind of car, be detailed, the series, the year, the color, everything I want about this car, and I write it down. I will now begin to ask, okay, so Ike, what would you be doing if you have this car? If everything exists in the universe in a different dimension as energy, what could my alternate person who already has this car, what is he doing now? And to get to that, I have to ask myself, why do I want this car? Because if that person is still me, then the why I want this car has to be what the person is doing now. So the what is the clarity of what you want, and then the why I want it is going to lead me to what I'm doing right now in that dimension. I know that's a mouthful, but just stay with me, you will get it eventually. So if I say, okay, Ike, what would you be doing right now? Where would you be parking this car? Where would this car be by now? What kind of fun would you be having with it? What are the kind of gestures I'll be getting from people? And now, when I get all this detailed, I will now start to think about, how does it feel? How does it feel having this car? What kind of feeling is driving this car going to give me? I'm going to feel like whatever. I'm going to feel fulfilled. I'm going to feel good every time I'm in it, and all of that. When I get all these details into it, I'm connecting, I'm aligning myself to the frequency of the energy of my future person who already has that car. When I understand it and I get this detailed down, now I have the thoughts. I'm going to be thinking where the car is going to be, how the car is, where I'm going to be going with it, all the things, how people are going to feel about me having the car, the kinds of things they will tell me, the kinds of nice words they will tell me, the congratulations of everything. That's the thoughts. The feelings, I know how I'm going to feel. It's going to make me feel satisfied that I'm able to create this, I'm living my dream life, stuff like that. The way it feels in my body is the energy I'm looking for. So I'm creating that electromagnetic energy, and I keep repeating it over and over again. The more I do that, the more I'm aligned to that future. The more I do that, the more I'm drawing it closer to me. So the intensity of that desire is going to fire me up to keep doing it every time. So the more feeling that I have, the more energy that I move out there is going to close the gap between the thought and the manifestation. Meaning that the more I do that, the more the gap is closed and the shorter time it takes for it to show up in my life. This is how it works. All right. So the thoughts and the feelings. Now my actions, which makes it my personality now, is important. This is where some of us fail, including me sometimes. So what am I going to be doing? How am I going to behave? What are the kinds of things that I'm going to be saying? Because speech is action too. All right. So if someone asks me a question and I say, I don't have a car, I've not bought a car before, now that negates what I've already sent out into the field. That's a wrong action. It doesn't mean that you start bragging or telling lies or doing things like that, but be careful with how you're going to be talking. All right. You can say things that match the reality of who you have become, of that person that you want to be, which you have become by sending out the energy without bragging or without necessarily telling lies. So you can say things that are in line with that, or avoid scenarios that is going to cause you to say things that does not reflect that reality. So the actions here are important. You have to act in certain ways that will not take you away from that vibration, from that energy, from the electromagnetic energy that you're constantly building. Your actions has to align. You have to see yourself in the car every time. You have to mentally rehearse yourself getting into alignment. Now, the studies of the brain shows that every time you rehearse something mentally, it creates neurocircuitry in your brain to look like the event has already occurred in your brain, to look like you have just done it. There are several experiments on this, that the brain continues to look like you've done something you have rehearsed in your mind to do without even lifting a finger. So if you rehearse it well and rehearse it well, yourself driving the car, yourself parking the car, you go into places you're supposed to go with the car. And then if you're committed and you're present with it, your body is going to start to feel like it is actually happening. Now, that moment, you are your future self. You've connected, you've clicked with your future self. You're in the energy. It's only a matter of time. And again, it's not going to be a long time, depending on how consistent and faithful you are with the inner work. It's not going to be a long time before you begin to see things begin to show up in your life. Now, lastly, do not get into the how. Do not get into the how it comes into your life. Leave that part. The electromagnetic energy you are putting out there is going to cause circumstances to begin to work in your favor to bring it into your life. Don't think about the money involved. Don't think about how it's going to work, how you're going to get the person in your life, the relationship, the house. Don't think about that. That's a different energy. Because once you start to think about that, you've moved out from that personality. You are now a different person. You have to keep staying with the energy. If you stay with the energy and keep creating it, expanding the energy, create what we call a momentum, the energy will start to work. You'll begin to notice some coincidences, some opportunities coming into your life to orchestrate this thing now to come miraculously in your life. It will happen in a way that will blow your mind. You would never have thought about it. Okay, thank you for watching this video, and let me know what you think in the comments below, and try this out and always come back to this video to understand some things. So I know that there are so many things I skipped, and that's why I keep making videos like this to fill in the blanks. Also, let me know what you want to hear about or what you want to learn about in this deliberate creation process. Let me know in the comments below, and help me share this video so that people will get to learn too. And help me subscribe to this channel. Give me a follow, again, depending on which platform you're watching from, because your subscription and your follow and your comments and your likes and your shares helps people know what I'm doing here. And it's like a support and a show of love and kindness to my work here. So thank you for watching once again, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.